It was only a few months ago when Meta announced the price hike of Meta Quest 2 by $100, and now they're changing it again, but for the better this time. In this video, we cover the details of the upcoming price changes of the Meta Quest 2, updates on VR headsets like the Pico 4 and Apple's Reality 1, a new way to watch sports with an 8K resolution, 180-degree view, and finally, VR game updates since we haven't covered VR games for a while now. Speaking of games, if you're a big fan of escape rooms like me, look for the game key somewhere in this video for the game Escape Room Bank Robbery Gone Wrong. If you're the first one, this is my way of saying thank you. We absolutely have a lot to cover, so let's get started. It was only a few months ago when Meta announced the price hike of Meta Quest 2 by $100, and now they're changing it again, but for the better this time. As Black Friday and the holidays are just around the corner, Meta is really pushing for major discounts around this time to put as many VR headsets under Christmas trees as possible. This year is special just because we saw a price hike from $299 to $399 back in August, as well as Beat Saber being part of a bundle when you buy the Quest 2. This time, Meta is taking the middle point between the two and pricing the Meta Quest 2 at $350. But the price change is not the only thing.
But wait! There's more!
Meta Quest 2 will now have a bundle with, I think, two of the best VR games for brand new users. That's right. On top of getting Beat Saber for free when buying the Meta Quest 2, you now get Resident Evil 4 added to that. I'm personally a big fan of both Beat Saber and Resident Evil, and when you consider those games at face value of $30 and $40 respectively, it actually seems like a pretty good deal to me for anyone starting out. If you're someone that's interested in this deal, the price change will take effect on November 18th. As always, with anything Meta, there is a catch. If you're someone buying the Meta Quest 2 as a gift for someone else, please know that you or whoever activates the Quest 2 will only be able to redeem Resident Evil 4 VR by the end of the year. I just don't want anyone to buy this and forget in about a month that they have a limited time to activate the games. Personally, I think the $350 price point is just about right without any additional games. Don't get me wrong, I love the two amazing games that come with the Quest 2, but all I'm saying is that $350 for the Quest 2 isn't too cheap or isn't too expensive, and it's priced just right. If you agree or don't agree, no worries. I enjoy having a thoughtful conversation in the comments below, so let me know your thoughts. I do wonder with his new recent price changes whether Meta will be making a profit on the Meta Quest 2 or if they're still losing money with every sale. Just like how Meta Quest 2 was losing money on every sale before the recent price changes, we also got the news that Pico 4 is also losing money and did not meet the company's expectations when it comes to its revenue. There's an estimate out there from technical experts that Pico 4 might be losing around $140 per sale. There are two things I'm really confused about. The first is why companies sell devices at a loss knowing that they're not going to get the majority share of the market, and how the sale of the Pico 4 aren't meeting the expectations when there were shipping delays due to the overwhelming amounts of demand prior to the release. I hear that Pico 4 as a headset, so the hardware features are really good when comparing it to the Quest 2, but it also loses the battle on the software and the content side of the battle. Regardless, I don't think you can go wrong with either headset as the first VR headset, and I'm still thankful for the Pico 4 release because it gives us, the community, a choice. Speaking of having a choice, if you want to call it that, you'll soon be able to consider buying Reality 1 headset from Apple. We recently found out that Apple's AR/VR headset, Reality 1, will begin mass production in March. We know that consumers will be able to buy the Reality 1 by June of next year, and the headset will cost somewhere around $2,000 to $3,000. If you're super rich, please let me know how the headset is. The headset will be powered by the M2 chip seen in the Max, so this might be the most powerful VR headset in the market upon release. Now, you guys have to check out this app that we're about to talk about. This app seriously might be the future of watching sports on your VR headset, as it supports a sports viewing experience with up to 8K resolution and a 180-degree field of view. The app is called Xstadium. It also supports sports events that are live, on demand, and pay-per-view access, which can be enjoyed with your friends. Just from the trailer, it looks like you can watch sports like UFC, basketball, NASCAR, WWE type of wrestling, and tennis. If you're a sports fan, you seriously need to look into this app. There's actually a lot of news in the VR gaming space, so I'll go through each one a little quicker than usual. I don't think you missed this since Meta was marketing this game like crazy, but Among Us VR is finally released and the game is so fun. I made a dedicated video for this game review, so if you're interested, I'll leave it in the top right corner now. Beat Saber now has a new music pack featuring the 10 top hits from the weekend. The songs were really popular songs that I'm sure a lot of people watching have heard before, so that's actually pretty exciting. After years of development, the cyberpunk and physics-driven action game, Lawn, will be released for PC VR through Steam. The Light Brigade is a roguelike shooter game that promises realistic physics-based gunplay and magic. This game was one of the games coming out at launch for PSVR 2, but now we know that it will also release for the Quest 2 and PC VR around the same time as well. Similar story with Hello Neighbor, which is a stealth horror game about sneaking into your neighbor's house to figure out what horrible secrets he's hiding in the basement. It was announced last week that Hello Neighbor will be released with PSVR 2, but now we know that they'll also bring the game to Quest 2 in early 2023. Next, we have Massmaker coming to Quest 2 on December 15th. The game was already released on PSVR and PCVR last year. Hellsweeper VR, which was a game that was supposed to be released this year in 2022, but now will be delayed to Q2 of 2023 for PCVR. If you're a fan of Stranger Things, now there's a Stranger Things VR game coming out in late 2023 for Quest 2, PSVR 2, PCVR, and possibly Pico 4 as well. We just covered a lot of games just now, but this video you see now covers the top 20 rated VR games in order.